gentlemen, welcome back to another EU Made Simple livestream. Lambertus, it's good to be back. How are you doing?
I'm very good, man. I'm very good. My favorite part of a live stream is your intro.
I try to do something new every single time. It's the same sentence, but I try to pronunciate a little bit differently.
It makes me laugh every time.
That's the thing that I want most in life, Lambertus. Anyways, as always, please let us know if you guys can hear us clearly. Everything sounds nice. If there's no delays. And we're trying out a little bit more of the new overlay because we like to have to chat with it as well, so you guys can chat along with us. Because today is a very important topic that we want a lot of chat input for. Isn't that right, my friend?
Yeah. It's all about enlargement. So I'm not sure if everyone knows here, but today the EU released their new enlargement report, the 2025 enlargement report of how candidates are doing, how close they are to EU membership.
Yeah.
And man, it's really cool. They're actually quite aggressive with some of the things they want, which we'll get into today.
Yeah, many big questions, but we as EU Made Simple always like to do a little bit of extra. We start out by just watching things, but now we're actually preparing a lot, so that's why we're a little bit later today, trying to prepare a few clips to show you. And also, I believe you prepared a little schedule or a little tab, as we always like to do, right?
Yeah. So the way we're going to structure today is we're going to start with a trailer. So basically what happened, Euronews had a big session today for 3 hours talking to literally the leaders of most of the candidate countries. And they gave them their perspectives and how things are going. And yeah, we're going to get into all of that. And of course, Elliot, what we're going to do is we're going to do a ranking. So we're going to say what your opinion is of who will join next and what my opinion is. And in a couple of years, we'll know, right?
Just a few years, short years.
But there was also a cool trailer that's Euronews made. So I think we'll start off with that to set the scene what today is about. And I think with no further ado, I can play that, right?
Yeah. If you switch over, let's play a few seconds so that we can check if everyone can hear it properly as well, because that was always a big question, but they should be able to.
Yeah. Oh, already now?
We are standing here.
We're getting it through your microphone, kind of.
European Union has always been.
Right. Okay. So it's not showing through. I can see it on my end. It's not going through properly. That is annoying. Wait, Lambertus?
Should I play it or not?
Well, I don't think there's audio from the video itself. Or people say it's really low volume. I don't see it's coming through like normally. Normally when we share it goes through.
It's really low volume. So will it play from my mic, maybe?
I mean, yeah, but it's not going to be the best audio.
Let's try it. Let's try it.
We take you to the pulse of European affairs, straight from the heart of Brussels.
Today, we are standing here at its heart. It feels like the European Union has always been here, part of our lives. It all started here. 6 nations united by a shared vision. United to rebuild a continent torn apart by war. A union of peace and unity. A union with a single market and a common currency. A union of 27, all different, but as one.
Today they are 9 candidate countries listed by the European Commission.
We live in the historical moment where the enlargement process has become the priority.
For a union extending to its eastern borders. But are we really ready for this?
Fighting is ongoing. War in Ukraine has brought a new dynamic in the enlargement process.
We all are Europe, and it's not just about geography. It's about history, morality, and security that we share.
With war raging at our doorsteps, is an enlarged union the real answer to securing peace?
Will Europe be capable of protecting itself?
The sooner we are inside the European Union, the safer our democracy and our people will be.
To protect its voice in the world.
Enlargement is the most important geopolitical investment.
But welcoming new countries means more voices.
Europe for us is as much a shared spiritual space as it is a mosaic of many different regions, languages, and religions.
Not another press point
with enlargement, blah, blah, but mobilization of political will for Europeans in the Western Balkans, for Europe.
Will we be able to reach consensus?
We all share a common future. And to ensure stability and unity, we need to work closely as neighbors.
A larger union that strengthens Europe's economic competitiveness.
It is not only about the economy. It is what kind of Europe we want to have.
Joining the union might require effort and sacrifices.
If you want to be part of the club, you have to be both economy and value-based. So I think this is the winning combination.
How to undertake the deep reforms required.
We need to change ourselves for ourselves and because of ourselves.
The road might be long. They are staying on course.
We will not turn our back to these future EU citizens.
This is where Europe stands today.
Wir brauchen starkes Europa, ein Europa.
It's gone, it's gone.
At a
The trailer is
time
gone.
and place where history is written.
Ich sage noch einmal, wir alle brauchen Europa.
Today,
Well, you don't get to see the last
we are
part of the
standing
trailer.
here at its
What happened?
I think the trailer is gone. Yeah, the last 5 seconds.
All right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's over anyway. All right. Okay. So that was just pretty much to set the scene. It was not made by us, by the way. This was made by Euronews, but I think it's interesting to see nonetheless. Elliot, let's jump straight into it. So basically, if you can see, can you see now? Can you see
we're on the trailer still. Freeze frame.
Okay. This is lots of technical issues today. Here we go. Now you
There
can
we
see.
go. Yeah, perfect.
So everyone, this is basically an overview of where the countries or the candidate countries, not even all of them are candidates, but the countries that want to join the EU are today, right? So I think I'll do a quick explainer of what this means. So on the left, you have the countries, very simple. And there are 5 steps really that you need in order to get EU membership. And as you can see, all 10 countries here have submitted their application, which is quite simple, right? You just apply for the EU, send in your application, and then the step number 2 is then when you get your candidate status. So this is where the EU Commission approves your candidacy and makes you a proper candidate. And then you have something called a negotiation framework. This is where the EU creates a negotiation framework with the candidate country. And again, this is quite a big decision when this happens. It requires unanimity, which we'll get to in a minute. Then we have a long negotiation process, which has, what is it? How many chapters, Ellie? Do you remember? 34? I think it's 34.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, like 34 chapters. You know, things like the single market, security, etc., that have to be negotiated with the candidate country. And white here means open, green means closed, and gray means not started, right? Just to make it very obvious. Yeah. And then step number 5 are ratification by all. So basically everyone saying yes, which includes like the parliament, there could be referendums in the member states, etc. So it's a very, very time-intensive
long process. And for step 2, candidate status, doesn't the council also have to officially grant it, like candidate status? Correct. Or is it only the commission?
I mean, you already already get to the second point, which I really wanted to show, is this. You know, it's all about here. I'm zooming out a little bit. I hope you can see.
Yeah, you should
so you're right. It's a very good point. To get candidate status, you need unanimity. That means your Orbans and your Fitzos and everyone also need to say yes. And of course, that's a very, very difficult step. And that's also one of the reasons why Kosovo has never gotten there.
Yeah.
Because according to 5 countries, Kosovo is not a country, right?
Yeah. So it's very difficult to give not a country candidate status, right?
Yeah, that's 5 vetoes right there, right?
Yeah. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it really shows that it is extremely difficult because every single step of the way, and I also see unanimity per chapter, you need that unanimous vote. Which to me, it already is incredible that Serbia and Albania and Montenegro have, or no, actually only Serbia, Montenegro, and officially Turkey have at least one that everyone agreed on.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, and you say unanimity for every chapter, but the crazy thing is, it's unanimity to open a chapter and to close one.
Oh shit! Okay.
So one fun thing to do so let's count. Why don't we count? So in order to become a member of the EU, a country has to pass 1 unanimity in step 2, so
Yeah.
1 vote, another vote in step 3, that's 2, 34 chapters times 2.
I think it's even 35. I just tried to count it. It's even
Okay, so it's 70. So that's 70 vetoes there, 72 vetoes, and then of course another round of vetoes at the last step, right? So that's what, like 70. What is it? I don't know. Well, around 80 vetoes. Let's do that.
But like no, so it would be 35, 70, 73 then, right? Because you need 3 here as well. So a country 73 times they would have to convince the entirety of the European Union to join.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like 70. You said it, like 70 vetoes times 27 is how many vetoes you could potentially have.
Per. Okay, Jesus Christ. So it's really not a wonder that. I mean, it's been a while since we had a new admission to the European Union, right? Last being Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia. I can't remember. Maybe the chat can help with what year it was, but I think it was like 2011 or 2012 or 2014 even. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. Well, I'm sure someone will fact check us in the in the live chat. So 2013.
Yeah, 2013. There we go. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Jesus Christ. All right. So what then happened further on today? We have a commissioner for enlargement, right? And something happened.
Correct. So what happened today is the commissioner for enlargement, Marta Kos. She was basically responsible for writing this enlargement report. And she also said some words at this big event today. And let's share like a 1 minute or 2 minutes of what she said, because it's actually quite optimistic, which I thought was encouraging. So let's go and watch that. I hope you can hear the computer. Let me just go like that.
We're improvising tonight.
So here we go. Let's go.
And have to switch to the videos while we still see the PowerPoint.
For the first time in the last years, the last time we have enlarged, it was 2013 with Croatia.
There we go.
The possibility, the realistic possibility exists that in the next years we will get new members. We have 2 clearly front runners or leaders in the process. We have 2 another countries. We have where actually the development or progress has been huge in the last year. Albania and Montenegro, and of course then Ukraine and Moldova. We shouldn't forget all the others. So, but now it's a kind of, I have to say, that this is also happening because the European Commission or Union has changed the attitude towards the enlargement. It hasn't been in the plan in the last years. Now with this last commission, it is. We're also getting the support in the European Parliament for the enlargement, and generally also the majority of the citizens of the EU are supporting.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So it is. It's quite positive, right?
Again. Make sure to point the microphone at yourself again.
Yeah. Okay. My God, this the technical difficulties. Yeah. All right. So she said 2 countries are leading at the moment, Albania and Montenegro, and she said close behind them are Moldova and Ukraine. I thought that was very interesting, and she even mentioned, maybe not in that clip, but by 2030 that it should be doable. Well, I mean, what do you think about that?
So. Obviously, for this live stream, I did quite a bit of reading into the enlargement process, and I came to a very different conclusion than she did. I mean, I guess she is a lot more into it than I am, but when I was reading, especially like the case-by-case basis, I feel like most on this list are still very far away, and especially with the situations within the countries themselves, it looks very difficult to implement everything that is needed to join the European Union. So I guess I would slightly disagree with her that it's going that's a very optimistic time, because as we just said, it's an infinite amount of vetoes that you need to pass through, and it doesn't matter if the EU population supports it broadly, yes or no. In the end, the countries will decide. Member states will decide, I should say.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, it is very optimistic, but I do think a couple of the countries, especially Montenegro, I do have optimism, I have to say. But countries like Ukraine and Moldova, as much as I'd like them to join the EU, I am not so optimistic.
Right.
And you mentioned it, right? The unanimity is a big issue. And I'm just seeing in the comments someone saying, as an example, right? Moldova finishing step 3. It's true. Moldova and Ukraine have both finished the screening of step 3, but Orban hasn't allowed the veto. You know, the veto, right? Hasn't given them the right to start the next step, or at least open the first chapter. So that's why currently it's still empty.
Should we ask chat maybe in a poll if they are as optimistic about EU enlargement as Miss Kos was her last name? Yes.
Yes, Miss Kos. You could definitely make a poll for them. That would be very interesting. But you know what? While we're doing that, let's have a look at at Ukraine. Let's go a bit more detail into Ukraine, and we're going to go by each country as we have some cool clips from each of these leaders for these countries. And Elliot, maybe look at this. So the Ukraine hasn't finished its negotiation framework. It's stuck with the veto with Orban, but public support and political will is there, right?
Yeah, I definitely. So how we made this was public support. We take the latest available polling data from the country itself to see if they would support joining the European Union. And political will means is the actual political structure in the country also ready or working towards joining the European Union? So absolutely, I think that the will is there. Now, the very large elephant in the room is will they even be possible to with an ongoing war on their soil? Do we even want to? Because all of the implications with the common agricultural policy, it's a lot more questions than are they actually able to, right? So, like I see two of our faces on the left side. What's the idea there?
Yeah, so the idea throughout this video, and we'd love the chat also to get involved, is that we are going to give a number to each of these countries. So you're going to give a number, and I'm going to give a number, and obviously you're going to go first.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, of when you think the specific country will join the EU.
Okay.
But of course, Ukraine, exactly. So we'll start with Ukraine in a minute, and then when we go through each of these countries, you give your ranking of where they are in the list, and then over the years we can laugh or cry or whatever of whether we're correct or not.
Right. Yeah. We can see how wrong we were.
Yeah. And Villa, we don't need all the numbers. We have all the numbers because if I go to the next slide, yes, we do use PowerPoint. You see, all of these numbers will come and fill out everything, but we want to go one by one.
Little spoiler. Yeah. Let's go one by one. I see. It's very split chat actually. 56% says yes, they are as optimistic as the commissioner about EU enlargement. 44% says no. So apparently I'm just a bit of a Debbie Downer.
You are a downer because I'm more positive than you two. I think we'll have 2 countries in the EU by 2030. That's what I think.
Okay.
I won't say which ones yet, obviously.
Yeah. So your question now is when do I think in this order will Ukraine join?
Not yet, because we have one more clip about Zelenskyy, because there's another issue with Ukraine. So you're right. So issue number 1, obviously there's a war. Issue number 2 is how we're going to do it with funds, right? Because Ukraine will suck a lot of the contributor funds from Germany and France right into them, and they're not contributing themselves.
Yeah.
Issue number 3, agriculture. But I think all of those issues are solvable. There's another issue, by the way. A 4th issue is the corruption agencies. Have you got that? Remember that a couple months ago?
I do, but I'm pretty sure it was like the 2 major anti-corruption agencies were reversed the decision. They're back independent again. Yeah.
It was, but it made the report, the enlargement report. It said that it was worrying what happened.
Yeah.
And Zelenskyy was asked about it today, which is very interesting, I thought. So maybe that's something we can have a look at of how we responded.
All right, let's see. Yeah.
So let me do this properly. Back to my computer.
Yeah. I love this.
This is here we go.
Here in Brussels, there are some concerns about judicial independence in Ukraine, especially after the creation of 2 independent anti-corruption bodies. The enlargement report says recent negative trends, including a growing pressure on the specialized anti-corruption agencies and civil society, must be decisively reversed. What will you do to address these concerns?
Well, in my opinion, I do not see that in the report.
It's not true. It wasn't the
I
report.
know that there are certain messages, but I would check the real quotes from the report. But secondly, during the war, we have implemented the widest, the broadest anti-corruption infrastructure in Europe. And I don't know about any country who has that many anti-corruption authorities. Maybe it can be in other countries, but we are doing everything possible. There is a plan, and it's not the plan which we are inventing. This is the plan which we create in the dialogue with the European Union to start the negotiations platform, to open the clusters. Ukraine has to stick to the very specific list of laws and reforms. And that is why during the war, we need to be more specific in our steps. We are focused on that in a sufficient way. There is a request from Ukraine. Our legislation should coincide or be approximate to the European one. There are certain laws and reforms, and we are implementing them.
All right. All right. Okay, so kind of avoided the question, I guess, right? But there are true concerns, and it does mention it in the report because I looked into it. About anti-corruption agencies that Zelenskyy, or not Zelenskyy personally, but his government wanted to take under their wing rather than keeping independent, which is a concern. I mean, what do you think, Elliot?
Yeah. No, I mean, corruption bad. That's not really I don't think a controversial statement. So I personally do not know currently how it's situated right now. Like I said, the last news that I knew about is that there was a unanimous decision by the parliament to say, hey, reverse this this course of action. And to my knowledge, that kind of happened. But I guess it did still make the report that it even happened in the first place, and that it's still not entirely 100% good, right? Because I mean, we all know it's Ukraine has and does have corruption issues since for a long time, and can't change them in one day.
Yeah, and I think that is, for me, one of the biggest issues with Ukraine, probably even bigger than the war, because honestly, we've taken Cyprus in when Cyprus had massive issues.
Right.
Still does. I mean, okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating. The war is a massive issue before taking them in. But at least, okay, that was over-exaggeration for sure. But I think the corruption issue will make big countries who are putting a lot of money into Ukraine as beneficiaries very, very nervous, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely the case. I know, but I feel like corruption is one of the ones that is also the most solvable. I would say, of course, it's gonna take reform and work, but I feel like making sure that corruption is at acceptable levels according to the EU is going to be easier than the stopping the war, for example.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I take back my comment.
Yeah.
Elliot, let's cut to the chase. What do you think? Ukraine.
Oof, damn, man. You're asking me a difficult question because I have to think about the rest as well on the list. Yeah. I would say the momentum is kind of gone to get Ukraine in as soon as possible. So I'm going to say like 8th. Yeah, 8th. Let's put it.
8 for Ukraine, for Elliot.
Yeah.
You see, I am way more optimistic than you. I think 4.
Wow. Okay, why?
That's okay. So that's mainly because I think other countries have even less chances of getting it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, because I think there's 2 definitely below, but okay. Can I change to 7 or no?
So you can. So all we'll do is this. You can make. Okay, let's do it like this. Throughout this game we're playing, you get 3 changes. So you want to no 2. 3 is too many. 2 changes.
Okay. Yeah. Does this count as my first one?
Yeah, it will count as your first one. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. Is it worth it? Because Turkey's going dead last. Serbia also very low. Okay. Yes, I'm using my change. Put it number 7.
Number 7. Okay. Change 1 taken. So you have 1 more.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Very good.
Then let's go
to the next, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the next country. And that is... Oh, I need to copy these over. 1 second. Here we go.
In the meantime, where would chat put it? Let me know. Maybe we're completely off.
And if you have a question, make sure you tag us, because that way we can easier see your question quicker.
Yeah.
And AJVD, gladly do a poll. It would be great. Cool. All right. Next one. We're looking at Moldova. So, country bordering Ukraine. And public support 61%. Political will, yes. Should I give a brief overview of their status, or do you want to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Feel free.
So where they are, they're unofficially tied to Ukraine's bid to join the EU. Not officially, unofficially. And that also means that they're stuck currently with a veto from Hungary. They have been ready to start opening chapters since February this year and have not been able to do so because of Hungary, exactly. They have massive issues, though, just like Ukraine. Firstly, of course, the corruption one. Secondly, not so much agriculture, of course, because they're not as big and don't have much agriculture, but more so is Transnistria. So there is a part in Moldova, that's controlled by Russian militants, basically, and is supplied by Russian energy, has Russian military there. And they're basically not controlled by the Moldovan government. So that's a big problem, of course, but it's not an active war like Ukraine, which makes it a little bit easier, I would say.
Maybe a bit more comparable to the Cyprus case then. Yeah.
Exactly. And we have a little clip from their president. And I think let's quickly show that, right? Like a 2-3 minute clip of what she had to say about her membership bid.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, keep on here. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, we're going to skip that. Here we go. Oh, here we go.
Do you believe there is a threat to the sovereignty of your country? And ultimately, this leaves you totally at the mercy of Russia.
Of course. It's not easy. We have, in the last 12 months, we had 2 national elections and a referendum, and we have seen an unprecedented external influence from Russia. It was not easy for us to deal with so many challenges, but we knew that Europe is helping us, is next to us, and that we have an objective to become a EU member state. If we don't deliver in the next 3 years, we have the presidential elections in 3 years and then parliamentary elections, then what's going to be the message to the people? Because you might have the situation that the government has delivered, and we have seen even in today's report, I haven't seen the report, but I've seen some statements, including by Commissioner Kos, that Moldova did manage to show significant progress. So if you deliver at home, but you don't see progress on behalf of EU, then of course this creates significant risks for Moldova and for the rest of the countries in the region.
And you mentioned the report that was put out by the Europe.
All right. I thought that was a very interesting statement.
Right. I did have a question in my head because Moldova applied for candidate status together with Ukraine and Georgia, was it right?
Yes, they applied this exactly the same time as Ukraine and got candidate status, I think, at the same time. Georgia got candidate status a year later.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. But they also have candidate status. But of course, due to the problems there, it's not looking very realistic for Georgia, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to Georgia. So I think it really showed it multiple times. I mean, we followed it on the channel as well, that Moldova is on a lot more of a positive course. I mean, from within the country, it's clear, right? With parliamentary elections, with the referendum, with the presidential as well before that, right? So and everything points again and again, even with the Russian interference, that Moldova is on a pro-European course.
Very pro-European.
Yeah, very pro-European course. And I see a lot less, let's say, obstacles in their way, maybe except for the Transnistria problem, than, for example, Ukraine. So I would be a lot more positive about Moldova's chances, even though they're not even in a negotiation framework yet.
Right. So I think I agree with you, and I think it's the EU's turn to act because they have a pro-European president, just like you said, a pro-European parliament. They had a referendum which went pro-EU. For God's sake, like if we don't act, just like she said in her clip, what will happen in 3 years? The people will be like, well, what's the point?
Where is their help? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I really, really, really hope the EU does more here. Yeah. And so what do you think? What do you think, Elliot?
Oof. Well, and when we're talking about comparing, so when will they? Yeah, so it's gonna take longer, obviously, because they haven't even gone into the negotiation framework yet. So that already influenced the score in my head. I think I will put Moldova on like number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Number
put
3.
Moldova though. Yeah. Number 3. Okay, damn. Put it up. Don't put it up Bosnia though.
Oh, they put it Bosnia? Oh, oops. Bosnia is probably lower than 5. Yeah. All right. Okay. So 5 and 3. Then let's go to the next country, I'd say. And that is... Oh, I need to copy these scores over every time. It's a bit annoying, but that's fine. Here we go.
Let's go. We do it live.
Next, we have North Macedonia. And this is a really interesting case, I think.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like... I like the tagline that the report, or an older report used, which was the frustrated reformer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to give a rundown, or should I give a rundown? I don't mind. I put notes right here. Yeah.
I can give the rundown as well. Because I feel like let's do 2 parts, because I feel like there's kind of 2 parts to North Macedonia's story. I feel like the first one was kind of shaped by Greece. Right, I think most of us know about the entire discussion about the name of the country itself, because it used to be called the Republic of Macedonia, right? Just Republic of Macedonia, and Greece was very, very, well, let's say, upset or unhappy about this fact, because they have a region called Macedonia as well within their own territory, and they claim that is the original Macedonia. So before even any negotiations could start, Greece already said, no, you're not coming in unless you changed your name. And they did so in 2018 with the Prespa agreement, where they agreed to change that name to North Macedonia. And then the second trouble starts, and I feel like maybe you can jump in, is with Bulgaria, and it's still ongoing, kind of.
I feel bad for them, man, because they literally, I mean, one thing that also happened before they changed their name, this wasn't part of the EU, but they changed their flag because of Greece also, right?
Yeah, right.
So they changed their flag, then they went and changed their name, and then they're like, okay, finally we're getting somewhere. And now they have a issue with Bulgaria, where Bulgaria has a minority of people within North Macedonia. I think it's in the north of North Macedonia. I'm not quite sure. Doesn't matter, but it's very few, and they need to be represented in the constitution. So they need to basically create a constitutional change in order to, I think it is just literally having a couple of lines in there about them and about their language. I think that was the issue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, language and identity. It was between them and Bulgaria, and I think the biggest part was the compromise that was proposed was, sure, we as Bulgarians will recognize your language and identity. However, you must say that your origins, the origins of the Macedonian culture, are deeply Bulgarian. They come from Bulgaria. And that's when they said, well, no, we are our own thing, so bugger off, basically. And also, not everyone in Bulgaria supported this. This was the action by the Bulgarian government at the time. Many, the professors and experts and researchers said, hey, listen, this is not really the case. But yeah, that was the drama. However, the Bulgarian parliament did lift the country's veto in 2022. So the official launch of negotiations and start of this negotiation framework was in 2022. But as you can see, in North Macedonia, nothing has been done yet in the negotiation process, and that is because there is one thing that needs to change, and they need a 2/3 majority in the parliament in North Macedonia, as to change the constitution to include Bulgarians, or like some protections for Bulgarian minorities, and that is not happening. So that's why they can't start the negotiation process.
So they need a 2/3 majority, and they can't get it at the moment. That's holding the whole thing up, just because Bulgaria is still insisting on this constitutional change.
Yeah, and yeah, not only I don't think only Bulgaria. I think the EU was part of brokering this compromise, like make sure that the Bulgarian minority is represented in your constitution, and that's 2/3 is impossible to get. But I believe, from what I've read, the current trajectory of the country and the goal is still to join the European Union.
Right. And having said that, let's have a look at what their leader said, because it is childish behavior, and I think you can feel it, the undertone of that. In my opinion, it's childish behavior in his little speech right now. So let's have a quick look. Oh, always like this. So we need to find him first. Where is he? Here he is, I think. Yeah, that's him.
The long way to the European Union membership. You do have great experience to share with some of the candidates there. Prime Minister of North Macedonia, thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation, of course.
You are a very experienced candidate, if I may say. Now, the country submitted the application in March 2004.
Practically, we started this journey more than 2 decades ago, 2 decades and a half, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, we signed that stability and association agreement with the European Union. We've become a candidate country since 2005, together with Croatia. We received first positive report for starting negotiations in 2009, together with Croatia. And unfortunately, we are in the same place where we were 25 years ago, due to some artificial reasons. Not because of the Copenhagen criteria, not because of the fulfilling some objectives, but because of some artificial disputes, such are our national flag, our national name, our country name, change of constitution this, change of constitution that. Again, there is another hurdle, another constraint imposed in front of us for changing of constitution. So it's not about fulfilling recommendations and Copenhagen criteria.
You're calling them artificial.
Very clear. Artificial reasons, yeah.
I feel for him, man. I feel for North Macedonia too.
Yeah. I understand. I think there was actually someone in chat from North Macedonia, so I would love to hear his opinion. I see, yes. Walter Ristov, he says, North Lambertus and North Elliot, how does that feel? So already not very happy of calling himself North Macedonia.
But let me be quite frank here. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we are literally haggling over constitutional changes, which in the end has nothing to do with reform when it comes to rule of law. It has nothing to, well, normally it doesn't. And well, definitely changing a flag doesn't. Definitely changing the name doesn't. It's, it's quite frankly insulting to the country.
And the entire weird, like, ethno-historical reason of saying not Macedonians are Bulgarian. Maybe we should dig into that from the Bulgarian perspective, but I feel like it's a very strange thing in this day and age of making a point that North Macedonia or Macedonians are en route Bulgarian. It's like, why is that such an important point in the region? But that could be because we have a rather Western point of view.
Should get someone from Bulgaria on to explain it, because at this point in time, I don't get it.
Me neither. But ranking time, I reckon.
Yeah, ranking. Sorry, Elliot, you're always first, man. So it's up to you when you do the ranking.
So I believe that everything is kind of in place, and these hurdles, as he calls them as well, artificial, I feel like can be resolved with less difficulty than real sweeping reforms. Obviously, they will have to get through reforms, but I feel like I would put North Macedonia at number 4.
Jeez,
4.
Man, that is intense. 4. Man, they haven't even opened a chapter yet, dude.
I think once they start cracking, Stark is gonna fly.
Okay, cool. We'll put them 4. I'm gonna put them at 5. There you go.
Let's see what some people are saying. Let's see. We admit that certain practical changes are needed. Of course, there should be a limited law and order in the economy, but to hold us in bay for a name of constitution is ridiculous, says Walter, which I feel like is very fair to point out.
Yeah.
There, what else do we have? Dussert says, my friend is from Bulgaria, and according to him, Macedonia has practically always been Bulgarian. The lineage of the ancient Macedonia of Alexander the Great is minimal in present-day Macedonia. See, I'm not educated in Macedonian or Bulgarian history, so I'm not going to make a comment, but in my first impression, just as a future, why does it matter that this is outspoken? That would be my first question. But let's see. Also, I wanted to address one thing very quickly. Some people have been asking about Canada and other non-European potential candidates. For this live stream, we are only looking at the ones that actually have attempted to go for candidate status and or are already a candidate, and Canada as so far is not, and all the other countries are not.
We should have included Morocco then, Elliot.
Have they
applied? They've applied in like the 1980s or something, and the Europe said, or the EU said, no, because you're not a European country. But Morocco has attempted it. Right.
Interesting. Well, Morocco is going to go even further down the list then. They're going to be number 11.
Imagine Morocco a part of the EU. I mean,
I actually did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Actually, it might be worth a video. But we don't want to sit here till 12 o'clock. Yeah. We need to move to the next country.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. It was interesting. So wait, I always have to copy the numbers over. So 1 second. All right. So the next country we've got is Montenegro. So it's the small little country in the Western Balkans. And again, I mean, always the same question. Should I take it on or should you take it on? Would you like
take it on, please? I know a little less about Montenegro.
Yeah, so Montenegro is honestly if you look at the process, the furthest ahead, right? They've opened all the chapters and they've already closed, I can't see it from here, but like around 7 of them, right? So they're very far ahead. And the report also calls them like pretty much the golden boys or the golden boys, the golden country, right? They're setting the example. So yeah, they're doing very well. The public support is high. Political will is there. And we also have a little clip of their president or their leader talking about their progress, which I think is quite interesting. So maybe we should go there for a second.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. Let's hope this is the right clip. Yeah, I think it is.
My guest is Filip Ivanovic. He is the Deputy Prime Minister for European and Foreign Affairs of Montenegro. And this,
apologies, the Deputy Prime Minister.
Being the smallest of all the countries wishing to join the EU, it is considered a frontrunner and widely tipped to become the next EU member state. Deputy Prime Minister, welcome to 12 Minutes With. Thank you for joining us on Euronews.
Thank you for having me and for talking about Montenegro.
Well, let's talk about Montenegro. As I said, the smallest, but the most advanced on its path to becoming an EU member. And you just received a glowing appraisal from the European Commission saying that if you keep up with this speed of reforms, you are on track to join in the next 3 years. Tell us then, what is the secret recipe for Montenegro's success?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that the report that we have just received is additional evidence to the plan that we as a government had, which is to have each of the reports being better than the previous ones. So previous year we had the best report up until then, and now this is the best report ever, so to say. So it is evidence of a very hard work of the government of Montenegro, but not just of the government, but also of other political institutions in the country. But it is also an introduction, I would say, to a very successful intergovernmental conference that we will have by the end of this year, where we will close several chapters. And on the other hand, it is, let's say, a blueprint of what we need to do in the forthcoming 12 or 13 months in order to fulfill our goal to finish the negotiations and to close all chapters by the end of 26. So I would say that the political dedication and hard work are the key ingredients of this success.
We do hear.
All right. Okay. I mean, it's very clear, but sorry, very quick side comment. Don't you think it's a bit like condescending the way that like we talk with these leaders? Like, oh, you're such an expert. You've been in the process for so long. It's embarrassing they've been in the process that long. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
Yeah. It's like, no, you've been there 20 years. You're such an expert on it. Well, I don't know. I think it's a bit silly the way of talking. But anyway, sorry. What any thoughts?
It has got to be rather clear. To me, the only thing that I'm thinking of is it's kind of incredible how if you put the entire government apparatus to a task and the entire, or like a largest part of the entire population supports a project, that you actually can make that change. I mean, you can see in the negotiation process, they've closed many chapters and opened all of them, which is, I mean, it is impressive, even though it might sound condescending. I feel like, especially when you compare it to the rest of the candidate, it is definitely an achievement on its own.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think, AJVD, I think you mentioned it perfectly. It's embarrassing to the union, not to them. That's what I mean. It's very embarrassing for us. And and I wish we were quicker on it. But I think, you know what, Elliot? I'm going to go first on this one. I'm going to do this. You can't choose the same as I can, you know?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Fun little new rule.
Yeah.
Yes, no, one. I would also put one for sure.
Yeah? One for you too?
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think the key here is also they literally have very little standing in their way. They need to reform a little bit, I think, when it comes to rule of law stuff. But even Hungary is in favor of this country joining, right? So there's no vetoes in the way. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that they're front runners.
That is incredible. Yeah, I mean, if you get Hungary to agree to join, then you must be doing something diplomatically well. Excuse me.
Yeah, Montenegro, easy number one. Let us know in the chat if you disagree or if you're from one of these other countries on the list and you think your country has a better shot.
Yeah, actually, it would be very interesting to hear if one of our viewers are from these countries, because they might provide a lot more insight than we can read from text and reports and analyses.
100%. All right, next country, which is Serbia. Whoa. This is a big one. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Elliot, floor is yours.
Yeah. So public support, 40%. I put a little star next to it because it is not the majority, but the amount of people that are opposed to it is 34%. So it is still more people support EU accession than not. And the same goes for political will. Yes, star. The official stance is we want to keep going and we want to keep reforming to join. But in many actions, especially when it comes to Russian sanctions, it's looking like Serbia is aligning itself much more with China and Russia. And the same goes for all of the public polling that comes from Serbia. Many see Russia and China as the more important partners than the EU. So it's not strictly yes, it's not strictly supporting or supporting. It's a very complicated case, and of course that combined with the many protest waves, the fear of a backsliding in democracy. It is one that has completed and opened a lot of chapters, but I don't see joining very quickly.
And before we do our rankings, I think we should listen to Marta Kos, who is the commissioner for enlargement. She was very aggressive on her assessment of Serbia, and they did not do well in the enlargement report. So have a listen to this.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, okay, 1 second. We are not watching this. Here she is. 1 second.
About Serbia after, but now that you brought it up, what does that mean? You say there is backsliding, and it's happened in many critical areas, going from civil rights to freedom of expression in the media. You also say, I want to see a democratic Serbia. If I'm the president of Serbia and I'm hearing this, I would go, well, it's going to be very rough. That means this is not going to move.
You will have it.
Disagree.
You will have him later. Oh, I'd like to talk to him, and I will meet him. I have invited him for dinner tonight. It will be for sure interesting exchange. But I stay behind every word which is in the report. Why, especially? Many areas. One of them is never before have been so many journalists jailed in Serbia as in the last year. The judiciary system is very much under the influence of the president. nothing is happening in the enlargement process without the president. It is not right. And I could go on. CFSP alignment. So, we expect from our candidates that they align in the trend their foreign and security policy with the European one. Serbia is really on the last place. So we have 4 members or 4 countries, candidates from the Western Balkans, having 100% fulfillment of the CFSP alignment. Ukraine is 99, Moldova is 98, Serbia is 61. One point. The other point is I can understand that President Vučić is going also to Moscow and to China, but we notice this. I can understand, I come from this area, I know about the relations between Serbia and Russia. On the other hand, being supportive to a regime, Russian regime, which is killing people in Ukraine, not accepting the sanctions which the EU is having against Russia. There are things which we really cannot tolerate anymore. And what I think is also not good, and it is mentioned in the report, is that especially the Serbian politicians and media, which are then following his lead, should really stop accusing us, the European Union, that we are behind the protests in Serbia. Really, we are not. So this is clearly a lie. And there are many, many lies I could go on. And this should stop immediately.
Well,
yeah. So as we said in the chat, that's going to be a great little dinner she's got with Vučić tonight.
I think he's calling it sick for that one.
Yeah. So, this was, again, just to give you a reminder, that was Kos, Marta Kos. She's from Slovenia, and she's with the Commissioner for Enlargement. So she's kind of responsible for the technicalities for countries joining the EU. And yeah, as you can see, she was not impressed. So I think if we look back at our ranking, Serbia.
And we haven't even mentioned the entire Kosovo ordeal as well.
Oh yeah, Kosovo, of course.
Yeah, it's also one of the major hurdles next to everything that Marta mentioned in that little clip. So, it's not looking very good. So I would put Serbia at 9th.
Serbia in 9th. Okay, that's very low. I see them as 7.
Okay.
Oh, other way around. Yeah.
Andri asks, I was kind of expecting some notes on the possible enlargement reforms. What are your expectations on that?
Yeah, it's reforms. I assume you mean the reforms in the EU. And to be honest, it was mentioned in the session today that it's not on the agenda for the EU, which it is not. The Parliament wants it, but the Council simply doesn't. The Council is 27 member states. So it doesn't look like any reform is happening. But that being said, there are a couple of ideas on the table of how to make enlargement possible without the reforms. One of them being is that when new members join, they won't have a veto right.
Yeah.
Right. That is one thing on the table, that we can do something there. The second thing on the table is a provisional period of membership. So, for example, if Serbia were to join, probably not Serbia, but let's say Macedonia, then they'd have a provisional membership of a couple of years before the final decision we made. Another thing on the table, of course, is like a membership on to parts of the EU, not the whole European Union itself. So these are the things being talked about, but nothing is certain there. But last comment. The countries were asked, especially Ukraine was asked. I think it doesn't even matter, but another country was asked how would you like not having the veto right when you're joining the EU? And they were pretty upset about it, to be honest. I understand why, because they're like, well, you take us in and then we're not even a full member. Then we're like a half member. And we've done all those years of joining and then you don't even give us the same rights that you have. And I think that creates a two-level society, which is not great.
Yeah. It feels like the Star Wars meme of Anakin not being allowed on the Jedi Council. Sorry, little meme there. Anyways, what is up next?
So next country, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next country is sorry, I have to carry over the rankings.
Georgia.
The next one is Georgia. My God, man, that is it's a bit sad, really. That story.
It's a very sad tale. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see already in the public support, which is so strange about the entire situation, where you have a country where in 2022 they applied, they got their candidate status in 2023, and in 2024 the Prime Minister Kopakidze announced that they are suspending the negotiations with the European Union until 2028, but as a kind of political making sure that not everyone loses their shit, is, let's say, we try to still attempt to implement the required reforms, but we're suspending all the negotiations. Well, as you can see here, public support is at 86%. 86% of the entire population sees a positive future within the European Union. So it is very, very sad, and it's obviously gone backwards. I mean, let's be straight about it. Since the final, the last year, I could say even longer, maybe, with the foreign agent law, with the fear of the entire opposition being prosecuted, everything is going backwards, and the EU is also saying so.
Yeah. I mean, nothing to add to that, right? It's a sad story. They, of course, in the event today, they didn't have any representation, the government, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no video to show here, and I think we can go straight to ranking, I guess, right? Georgia.
Yeah. But before we do that, Daan Schavendijk donated €6. Very thank you very much for your donation. Very kind. And we always give priority to our super chatters. Of course, he says the European Council should be disbanded, only holding back progress, making the EU efficient, or maybe inefficient in that context. But it's a rather stark reform. But if you ever ask a organization to vote on should they exist, yes or no, I feel like most of the time they will say we will keep existing.
Imagine. So basically, you need unanimity in the council, in the European Council, to decide that. So yeah, very unlikely. Very, very unlikely. But Dan, what I do agree on is we need to move to qualified majority voting in the council. I mean, that's so flippin' clear. But again, it's the same thing. Are you going to get unanimity to vote away powers that you have today? Very difficult.
Yeah. Very, very difficult. Anyways, so let's get straight to voting for Georgia. And here I was kind of thinking, should Serbia or Georgia be above? Maybe in the final ranking I will use my last change, but I'm gonna put Georgia on 8th.
You're gonna put Georgia on 8th. Okay. I'm gonna put them, as it pains me to see, on 9th.
Yeah, I can also see that.
Yeah. And I think this is another failure in the EU, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, not as big as, I'm scared Moldova is going to go the same way, but I don't know, like, don't you think we should have done more in the last couple of years to pull them even more? I'm not sure. Could we've done more?
I think you can always do more, for sure, but I'm not sure. I think this is really a big case of government and like the entrenched institutions there with under Georgian Dream just not letting go and seeing a much more profitable partner in Russia. So I think, like, what could you do next to, going in there and changing the government, right? Like, you can't do that as a European Union. There's only so much you can message, right?
Hey, the US has regime change all the time. Nah, I'm joking.
Right. So, EU regime change. We're being accused of it anyways in Serbia. So
I know we are. I don't know. Yeah. No, I agree. I think you're right. At the moment, there's not much we can do. Actually, what we can do is report about it. Because honestly, I think we've done quite well, especially on Instagram, reporting on it. But sometimes it's lacking. But anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. One final thing as well is that when you ask, like, what could the EU do now, I know that a lot of protesters and these opposition groups are asking the EU to implement sanctions and to suspend these things as a way to show the stick, I guess, for the actions that are being shown, right? The carrot would be joining the European Union. That clearly isn't working, so show the stick instead. That's kind of a final thing that people were calling for. I don't know if that's still the case.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Something Actually, we should put on the list for a future video. That being said, should we go to the next country?
Absolutely.
So let me copy the rankings. Oh, it's getting to the crux of the matter. So, okay. So I messed up somehow.
I didn't continue. Right.
Yeah, I didn't continue. I kind of messed that up a little bit, but that doesn't matter. We'll just do it like this. I'll put all the public supports here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can just do the.
And exactly. So here we go. So next one. Which one do we want to do next? Should we have a look at Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Yeah. Sure. Let's do it. It's one that I feel like isn't very much talked about in most EU discussions. I mean, obviously it's part of the Western Balkan, right, and attempting to join with the rest of the class, let's say the school class, but they are sometimes described as the worst student if we're staying with the class analogy. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of dive into it. I mean, they got
dive into it, because I know very little about Bosnia, so maybe you want to give it a short overview. Yeah.
Like the screen says, they applied or they got their candidacies in 2022. They formally applied in 2016, and they have been rather attempting to move towards that EU accession for a few years now. Some of the leaders are very optimistic. They say 2030, Bosnia is going to be in. Others are a little bit less, and they say 2050 could be as late as 2050 that they join. So don't let that influence your ranking, Lambertus. So the Western Balkans have this plan, right, where not only the Western Balkans, but the EU does a lot of development aid throughout the countries that are wanting to join. So also in Bosnia, and they have received. I don't know the total figure, but I do know that they lost 10% of their funding because they did not come up with a plan for how they're going to do their reforms in 2025. And that number of developmental support that they're getting, these funds, is going to decrease every year by 10% every time that they don't have a plan for their reforms. And the reason why they do not do these reforms or even make a plan for them is this internal political tension between ethnic groups mainly, and I'm generally referring to the Bosnian Serbs. Very, very difficult topic, so I don't want to get it wrong. But there is a large group of Bosnian Serbs that are generally opposed to centralization, to the central government, and they were in the coalition, and then they stepped out, I say stepped out of it. The rest of the coalition agreed to kick them out because they were really blocking that enlargement process. So now we have a collapsed government that is unable to do any of the major reforms, is not able to push through towards that EU candidacy, and kind of in deadlock right now. And the question is, will they be able to get out of it? I'm not sure. Currently, it's not really looking like it for now, but there is still political support, although it's been decreasing in 2022. It was around 76%, and now in 2024, the latest I could find went to 68%, as you can see. So it's going a little bit on a downwards trend, and I feel like this is a country where the let's say internal instability is really one of the main causes.
Exactly. I think that is definitely the conclusion. Is there's so much internal instability that I think they need to sort that out first. And by the way, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that public support is going down. Honestly, if you look at public support for most of these countries, with the exception maybe of the new members like Ukraine, candidates, I mean, like Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, etc. But like the Western Balkans, I think all of them have lost public support over the last 10 years. And I think that is because it's been so slow.
Yeah, definitely. I think the definite trend is downwards when it comes to public support.
Yeah. I see we have a super chat, but let's get to that after we finish Bosnia. So we'll come to your super chat, Clotte3241. But let's first do our rankings for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And again, we don't have clips for this because they weren't at the session today.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So what do I still have left? I will put them at.
This is kind of. I need to delete ones you don't have anymore.
It's going to get difficult here because because realistically I can only put them at 6th because I gave away the others already. Shit. Okay, I still have one change. I'm gonna look at the end to make it more. Okay.
Yeah, but a change means one swap. You can't change the whole thing, right? It means
no, yeah, one swap. Yeah, one swap.
One swap. One swap.
I understand. I understand. 6th.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good. Then what do I'll do? Okay. So I'll probably put them before Serbia. I'll probably put them at 6.
I thought weren't you laughing at my 6?
Yeah, I was, but I'm just noticing that I also have Kosovo left, and they're looking very unlikely too, and Turkey's super unlikely. Oh no, I'm gonna need to use my swaps too. Okay, I'll put 6 for now. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Bosnia and Herzegovina comes in at 6. All right, Klote, let's see your question. QMV is a slippery vote. Power shifts to Brussels, eroding national vetoes. We're a union of nations, not federals, by potentially ruled by populists. You want to go first, or I have a very clear opinion on this, but you can go first if you want.
I think we share the same opinion. Go ahead.
Yes, so I completely disagree, because I think that the veto vote we have at the moment is very undemocratic, because a small country like Hungary, and maybe even smaller countries like Malta, which only has like less than 1 million people, and Hungary has what, like 10 million people? I'm not sure, but probably very wrong there. It basically deciding the fate of 450 million other Europeans, because they're stopping progress, while the other countries, the other 440 million people, do want certain progress on things. So I think the veto is super undemocratic, and I don't think it erodes national voices at all. It just weakens 26 other national voices, rather than, the one voice that's vetoing it.
And don't forget, all the other voices are still represented within the European Union, and not a fed ruled by potentially populists. We are currently being ruled by populists in Hungary and in Slovakia, right? So if a country elects a populist, then we are still feeling the effects of it anyways. So
Exactly.
I would also disagree.
Yeah, and I think QMV is super fair, because it's not, I think, very clear. QMV is not a absolute majority, right? It's more than that.
Yeah.
I always forget the exact stats, but basically I think it's 60. Oh God,
60 something.
60 or something percent of countries, and 65% of population have to agree.
Yeah, 55% is 65%.
There we go. I always get those confused. So it's still more than 50%, right? Which means that, I don't know, I think it's a lot fairer. Yeah,
I completely agree. But we have been shills for the removal of the veto for a very long time. So let's not beat a dead horse. Let's continue.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's move on. But thanks for your super chat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's go for Kosovo. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I'm not sure if people know, but Kosovo, I mean, of course you know, it's a small country which is bordering or in, I mean, depends what your political views
Depends
are.
on who you ask.
Yeah, who you ask. In the country, Serbia. So, and of course, the whole thing is that Serbia doesn't recognize it as a country. And there's actually 5 other European EU countries that don't recognize it either. I looked up the 5 countries before, but I'll have to do that again in order to know. But I think it was Spain. And then
Spain for sure. That's the famous one that I always remember.
Famous one that doesn't recognize Kosovo. And there's 4 more, and obviously Serbia doesn't. Maybe you can have a look, Elliot, while I talk.
Yeah, I'm Googling.
Exactly. So, of course, this means it's super, super contentious. And if you remember our veto slide that we had, they can't get candidate status until, of course, this changes. And it's unlikely to change anytime soon. So that's why their candidacy is very, very unlikely. Yeah.
So Greece, for sure, Romania, Cyprus, Slovakia, and Spain.
Okay. So they all don't recognize Kosovo as a country, right?
Correct.
Okay. So there you go. So unlikely. And the only way I see them joining is, well, put it this way. If Serbia joins before Kosovo, Kosovo will likely never join. So the only way I could see it happening is if they join as a package deal, which probably has to happen anyway. They have to normalize relations in order for them to join the EU. So I almost see them as joining together or not at all. I mean, what do you think, Elliot?
I don't know. I don't necessarily agree that they have to be a package deal. I feel like if we get everyone in the European Union so far as to say Kosovo is a country, I don't know how likely that is. That's a completely different discussion. But I feel like once Kosovo is recognized as a country by all EU member states, then I see them being able to join on their own. I don't know. Yeah, because I mean the borders are there; they're being enforced. So
Yeah,
we'll
well,
see. So I think it theoretically is possible.
all right. Okay, well then let's go to your ranking.
I think I already know how I'm going to do this. But for now it has to be 3 because that's the lowest one. Okay, but I already have an idea. Don't worry, don't worry. Okay, I made a mistake.
Wait, I need an 8. I haven't used an 8 yet, so I would put them an 8, and I stand by it. I think they can only join with Serbia because mainly also I don't see these 5 countries dropping their veto anytime soon. I mean, there's no indication they will.
Yeah, I guess.
And Serbia will lobby hard, obviously, especially with those countries that they stay on board with them. So I don't know. I would tie it to the Serbia bid.
Yeah, but why would they care about Serbia? These other European countries.
I'm not sure. I would have to look deeper into it, but I'm sure that the bordering countries, which one are close to it? Which countries? You said Romania. You said Romania was vetoing it. Slovenia was vetoing it.
Oh, I just closed the tab. Greece.
Greece.
Why once? I'm just gonna pull it up again.
I would have to look why they're vetoing it. God, I don't even know why they're vetoing it. I would have to look it up.
I know for Spain, I think in general it comes down to fear of separatist movements within their own countries. Especially for Spain, I think that's true.
Okay.
With the entire, yeah.
Right, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So I feel like it's most the cases for most of the countries. That's what I do. And Cyprus blocks also because of the breakaway or contentious territory with Turkey. For Romania, I actually would. Yeah, for Romania, Greece. And what was the final one I said? Doesn't matter. I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely know for those.
Yeah, have a look. Uyu236. That's a good comment. This is what I think. I've just taken his opinion. We will never recognize Kosovo unless Serbia does. Spain would never recognize unilateral separation, Catalonia projection, even though we don't care at all about Serbia or Kosovo.
Yeah,
I'm inclined to agree with that statement. Yeah, okay. And that's why them joining together might make the most sense, because if them joining together would mean that Serbia and Kosovo relations have normalized. There we go. God, that opinion sounded amazing.
yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah. For me, it's a difficult concept to grasp, because I'm just from the small country of the Netherlands, which besides 5 Frisian people, don't really know any secessionist movements. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool. So let's. Do you want to make a swap now, Elliot?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, I can. Kind of is already there. Shit. Okay.
I mean, we can do the last 2 countries, and then you can make your final swap if that makes it easier.
It probably will. Well, no, I already know where my 2 things are going.
Okay.
It's kind of who am I going to switch it with? That's the big question.
Yeah.
Let's swap Kosovo with. I'm gonna say Moldova.
So Moldova gets your 5th. Sorry, wait.
Kosovo gets 5th. Spot. Moldova gets 3rd spot. Yeah.
You're just copying me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You did with the comment. Okay.
Yeah.
We both get a copy.
All right. Okay. So I see someone in the comments saying, Klote, number 1 commenter. Wow. Saying, why is Turkey on the list? It ain't joining forever. So let's have a look at Turkey.
Yeah.
I think Turkey is a very interesting example because they joined literally ages ago. So I think joined. They literally applied.
Yeah.
Yeah, applied ages ago. So if we look at this list here, you can see they applied in 1987.
Yeah, the oldest.
Oldest. I mean, imagine that. That's like 30 years, 33 years. Crazy.
Yep.
38 even. They got candidate status in 1999. And actually in the 2000s, there was a lot of energy going towards their bid. I even remember as a little kid that Turkey was in the media everywhere. Yeah, about them joining the EU. And then, of course, we know that, even back then, there was a lot of people against it in Europe. And then, of course, Erdogan came to power, and Erdogan isn't exactly the star boy, or you know what I mean. He's authoritarian tendencies, rule of law declined, lots of educational facilities got people thrown in jail, lots of media in jail, no freedom of speech. Issues like that really affected their membership. And even though they opened about 16, 17 chapters, closed one, their membership bid has now been put on ice. So they're not even being talked about at the moment.
So they're frozen from our side as well.
Exactly.
Right?
So from the EU side, they're frozen, even though Erdogan still publicly claims he's interested in joining the EU. Not even sure if he is, to be honest. But yeah, it's currently not being talked about. It's completely on ice. So very unlikely in the near term.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is where I reserved my number 10 spot for. I know from basically every single member state, they don't want Turkey in either. So forget about that unanimity vote. Almost no one is going to vote in favor anyways. Just no way out. Like something massive has to happen. A goddamn third world war has to break out before they get considered to get into the European Union. I really think number 10.
And you know the thing is, and I'm going to steer some controversy here. I do think we need to engage with them and try to keep them in our sphere of influence. And I don't mean, again, before you start getting the wrong idea, EU made simple wants Turkey to join. I don't think they're ready to join at all, just like you said. But I think if we don't engage with them, even though the government is absolutely something we don't agree with or I don't agree with, I think it's important to keep them on our side, or at least in our sphere of influence, because they are an important country. And rather than having them drift towards Moscow or Beijing, I'd rather have them deal with us and keep them, in our, again.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but I feel like it's already kind of being done with NATO. That kind of NATO makes sure that this happens, and I feel like the United States is kind of the one that's keeping them engaged within the Western world, let's say.
True, but I'm even thinking customs union, which they already have a deal with us with the customs union, but also even single market, not, maybe single market for goods, single market for services, things like that. I don't know. Things like, again, this is a topic by itself, but I think there is some things we could think about to work with them when it comes to trade.
There will be, I feel like these could be generally done through trade agreements, right? Most of these things are just like some other bilateral agreements between the EU and Turkey, but definitely won't have to go as far as membership at all. And I don't think that would be a good idea either.
No, I agree. There's a video on the channel always like pointing to, which is a tiered EU model. And there in the outer tier, I put Turkey as a potential associate member of the EU, which check it out.
Definitely. So that leaves one left, Albania.
All right, and Albania, we do have a clip from their leader, so maybe we should show that as the last clip, and then we can talk a little bit about their membership bid, because all right, 1 second. So let's have a look. Here we go.
Wait, that was switches, no?
Oh no, it cut it off. Okay, another technical issue.
Unlucky.
I accidentally cut him out.
2028 Brussels would tell.
Sorry, everyone. That was a fail. We're not going to see from the Albanian head of state because I cut it out of the video by accident. So we're just going to have to talk about Albania.
Unfortunate.
But again, the report today was very, very positive about Albania. So Albania's bid, as originally it was tied to North Macedonia. I think that was the case. And as you can see, North Macedonia wasn't very lucky because of all their issues with their name, their flag, etc., the things we talked about. And now since a couple of years, it's been untangled. And as you can see, since then, Albania has been able to open lots of chapters. So I think like 2/3 of them. And they're doing very well. So they've done great reforms on the usual areas, rule of law, corruption, etc. Corruption used to be a big issue, but it's improved a lot. And the report, for example, one example, the European Commission said that some high-profile arrests happened in the last couple of years to tackle corruption, which has been great. So yeah, they're now pretty much the star country to join the EU, pretty much on par, according to the report with Macedonia. So very positive for Albania.
Yeah, sounds like it. So I feel like that number 2 that is left for both of us is definitely not undeserved. I have to Google something before I say something. I have to fact check before I say it. Is this true? No. Okay.
Well,
So I thought for a second that Albania is a Muslim majority country, one of the very few in Europe, I think, combined with Montenegro and Kosovo, of course. But what I'm reading here is the Muslim population fell below 50% for the first time in 2023, with about 45% identifying as Muslim in the country. And well, I mean, we can go into it or not, depending on what you say, but I feel like it is a step that we haven't taken yet as the European Union, of letting in a country that I would say with a very different majority religion, and therefore also culture. And I'm not saying it's impossible, for sure, but I feel like that might be a contention, especially amongst the more conservative governments within the European Union.
I did not know that. Macedonia too? Has that?
No, not Macedonia. Montenegro. Okay. Montenegro has a very large.
So Montenegro and Albania have a large Muslim population. Okay.
Yeah, and Kosovo too. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, you're right. That might actually, that's very interesting, because that really might inspire some vetoes later down in the process for certain nationalist or like populist leaders. I'm thinking Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, although he's in the opposition now, but
not officially yet, but probably will be. Yeah.
Probably will be. Yeah.
Oh, Montenegro's Orthodox Christian? Maybe I got that wrong. People are telling me. Largest. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I just Googled it as well. 70%. So, but it's still sizable. 20% of the population is not small. 20% Muslim. Yeah, 20% is Muslim, 70% is Orthodox Christian. Very, very religious country as well. So sorry, I retract that statement, but still there's a large part.
So Bosnia has a huge part Muslim too. HGVD wrote in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then the same applies for that. So that's kind of I guess the big topic that definitely belongs to this conversation is when we don't have a Cyprus also not, because we have the border. So yeah, that's kind of my fear is that's going to definitely find a lot of vetoes in the direction the European Union currently is going. I would say the member states, right? So
yeah. I mean, yeah. So here, 1 second. So Montenegro is a Christian majority. It's Bosnia that has a large Muslim population. So yeah, I think Bosnia is the big one. Albania is the big one. Obviously, Turkey. Yeah, obviously. And Montenegro is 20%. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then my point more applies to Bosnia and to Albania and Kosovo as well. But I thought because that's what I knew about Albania, but apparently it applies to multiple countries. I would definitely think about that point when thinking about this.
All right. Okay, Elliot. So let's do a little review, and we're going to have the audience or our watchers vote on who they agree with more, you or me, with our rankings.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the big differences. So we both agree on one, Montenegro. And that's clear.
Yeah,
I think Montenegro and Albania. I mean, let's get to that later. So Montenegro, Albania, we're the same. The third, Moldova, we're the same there too.
Yeah.
4, we differ. I think Ukraine, and you think
North Macedonia.
North Macedonia. Okay. Yeah. 5. Where's 5? Kosovo. You think Kosovo? Okay, good luck with that.
You have North Macedonia.
Yeah, good luck with Kosovo, dude. That's gonna ruin you the vote. I'm joking. Okay, so 5, I got North Macedonia. What do you have as 6? You have
Bosnia. Both have 6.
Bosnia, Bova. 7, you have Ukraine, and I have Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. 8, I have Kosovo, and you have Georgia. I have 9, Georgia, and you have Serbia. And 10, we both have Turkey.
Yeah, I mean, not too large differences. Only 1 or 2 major.
I think Kosovo is a big difference. You think Kosovo has a better chance than I do?
Yeah, I think it kind of messed up with my rank. Well, so the thing is, I think everything above, like below number 4, is it's like already pretty unlikely.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would definitely stand with my Ukraine number 7. I think that's the other biggest one that we have, and I would definitely think Ukraine is a lot lower than number 4 on the list.
All right, Elliot, I'll make you a little deal. I'm gonna do a poll now. If I win,
oh god,
you owe me a beer, man. Otherwise, I owe you a beer.
Yeah, sure, we'll take it, guys. Please.
All right, guys, come on. I need a beer.
Guys, I'm an unpaid intern. Please, he's got me in his basement. please vote for me.
It's a lie.
Fuck.
Hilarious.
It looks like I'm losing.
It's jumping. It's jumping. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll see that in a couple minutes who wins. Okay. While that's counting up, Elliot, do you think before 2030, which countries do you think will join, if any?
Yeah. Okay. That's a good question. I think, well, Montenegro, number one. I think they will join before 2030. It's 5 years, huh?
Yeah, 5 years. Which countries?
Montenegro for sure.
Okay, so Montenegro. So I'm going to put them into green. So green. Yep.
I think Albania too, actually. Even though, that's difficult, man. Okay, actually, can I reverse my mind on Albania? Albania is not joining before 2030.
Okay, so you got one only.
Yeah, but actually, I want to say that even though my ranking is like this,
dude,
number 3, Moldova.
Okay,
there might be a good chance there, but that's it.
All right. Okay, so you think Moldova and Montenegro will join by 2030?
Yeah.
I'm going to be more optimistic. I'm going to think all these 3. Oh, Ukraine. Oh.
that's a. I know.
I'm too optimistic, man. I'm just too optimistic. Oh, I'm gonna put orange. I'm I'm too optimistic. I honestly don't think they will. I'm just hoping they will. There we go. That's my answer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not that far apart, are we?
Yeah.
5
All right.
Yeah, right. Tut says 5 years is not that long. You're right. 5 is not that long, but
yeah. I actually think probably better chance than so 1 and 2. Albania, Montenegro, I've got strong feelings about, but a better shot might be like an outsider, like Iceland or Norway, to come around the corner and all of a sudden, because their accession process will literally only take a couple of years if they were to come. Yeah,
that's a big if, I guess, if they were to apply and join in, because the reforms will be a lot quicker.
Would they need? I mean, seriously, Norway needs no flipping reforms, man. They're like better than us. Better than us. I mean, you know what I mean? Like more developed, very rich. Yeah.
Iceland referendum in 2027. Villa says.
Oh, okay. Iceland referendum 2027. Is that confirmed, Villa?
Actually, or is it a joke?
Canada instantly. I agree.
Okay, I was not gonna bring it up again, but you won the vote. 55%, 45% for me.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. I am disappointed it wasn't more than 55%, but
stop the count. Okay. Yeah. Very very interesting. So yeah, I think the only that I would put money on would be Montenegro, but I could see Moldova as well. Like once they apply the negotiation, I feel like it could fly through. That's kind of my only expectation.
Yeah. I don't think I honestly think, hearing your arguments, North Macedonia before Ukraine, I could probably see that happening, because I don't see the war in Ukraine ending anytime soon. And even if it ended, if there is any agreement, I mean, EU membership. Yeah.
It's gonna be very rough. It's gonna be very difficult, especially because for most of these countries, the impact on the EU will be a lot less smaller. But for Ukraine, if it would join, it would be a massive impact as well. So from the other side.
And don't forget, Macedonia joining 600,000 people. Like big countries will be like, or European countries might be like, yeah, okay, fine, 600,000. But having 40 or I think it's 36 or 37 million Ukrainians join, it has a bigger impact.
Yeah, way bigger. So, yeah, it's not. So this is why I said I was very, very, very positive about, or let's say as positive as our commissioner for enlargement.
Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope the positivity of Kos wins.
Yeah. Maybe one final topic that we have to cover is kind of, do we want countries to join in the EU's current form? Because I feel like it's a very large part of the discussion that we have kind of overlooked.
So it's actually good that you mention it, because I even prepared something for it. So Europeans, what they think is generic. So over Europe, all of Europeans, 56% of Europeans are in favor, and 39% mistrust new members joining. That is the wording.
Okay.
And why is it like that? Because of what you can see on the screen. So the benefits that Europeans see is larger markets for business and innovation, stronger EU influence in the world, and more work opportunity and skilled labor. But of course, the negative ones, cost, corruption, and of course, the biggest one here is uncontrolled migration.
Yeah. So yeah. I think the biggest, right? It's I guess logical that it's not on the list of concerns, but I feel like most comments that I've seen about this, especially in our circles, people are a lot more engaged with the European Union and the entire project, say that the veto and handing a veto to, like another commenter just said, handing a veto to 600,000 people would be a dumb move because it's already almost impossible to get any decision across. So adding more member states is going to make it even harder. So I guess that kind of comes out to the debate of reform before enlargement.
Yeah.
Or at the same time.
At the same time, or yeah, it's a difficult one. I think same time. It's very difficult because I don't see reform happening anytime soon. As much as we advocate for it on the channel, I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
so
and it comes to your argument of we don't want to let these countries wait too long as well, right?
No, I am seriously, my biggest worry is Moldova. Like they're literally giving us all the signs, right? Everything's there. They want it. And yeah, if we don't give it to them, then in 5 years it'll be very different. Yeah.
There isn't really an answer for this debate, I don't think. I mean, so obviously none of these countries, except for the one, maybe two that we mentioned in the previous list, are going to be joining anytime soon within 5 years. But on the one hand, you kind of want them to because you don't want them slipping away and becoming disillusioned with the European Union. On the other hand, like everyone's saying in chat, you don't want 30 countries having a veto within the European Council, making it even more impossible to govern for any type of reform. So really, it's a difficult situation that we find ourselves in.
But yeah, it is. And do you want 30 commissioners? That also makes things more difficult. There's loads to it. So maybe as a final question, do you want more EU enlargement?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
The final question of the day. Yes, no. And Elliot, while we're waiting, do you want enlargement?
If we're talking about the concept itself, yes, I want enlargement. I do. But if I would have to make a decision, if it would mean either, reform or enlargement, I would 1000% say we need to focus on the reform.
Yeah.
And then, the countries that are willing to join, they can decide, do they agree with that reform that they want to come in? But as it stands now, even though it is incredibly important to keep these countries on our side, keep them happy, keep the populations hopeful, how it is right now within the European Union needs to be addressed first. I would lean more towards that camp, although I know how important it is to see it from the other side as well.
And I would have to agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Reform is the most important part. But yeah, why can't we do both? Because I like both.
Yeah, yeah. Both would be the most ideal. But then you would have to work with the multi-speed constructions, and you would have to look at countries joining the European Union but not fully, so they don't have to veto yet. Discussions like that, which most candidate countries aren't very happy with or very excited about.
Yeah. Elliot, on that note, thank you everyone in the chat. So a couple things very quickly. Get on our Discord. We have 2 amazing servers. One that discusses EU topics from reform to federation to more nation states to everything. And we have a second Discord server that's all about role-playing. So there's a parliament there, and you can join a party and actually try to become the prime minister. Really interesting. Really, really cool server. It's very, very active. Make sure you join our Discord servers. And if you want to support us, please do join Patreon. It really makes all of this, doable.
Possible even.
And we've seen exactly. And we've seen patrons in the chat. Thank you for your support. Honestly, it means the world.
Yeah, 100%. It's you that directly makes sure that we are able to do this. Make sure that we are able to sit down and talk about EU politics in front of an audience, and kind of do that important task, I believe, at least, of talking and discussing the European Union, because that's not done enough.
Yeah. All right, Elliot. Thanks, man. Great live stream. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. This live stream cost me a beer. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.